No, dobra.
Hello, hello everyone. I'm really happy to be today, this evening with you guys, and I'm really happy Dominica made it, and we can talk today about the principles of the philosophy of health. Hello Dominica, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you all.
And it's really interesting topic because I'm recently talking with many of the different specialists in the area of health, and we came to the conclusion there is the misuse of the word health in describing the national system, because we have in UK something what is called NHS, National Health Service, which is not exactly the health service. Nowadays,
it's called NSS.
Oh yeah, you come up to the NSS. So what that means? Can you?
National Sickness Service, or NSPS, National Sickness Promotion Service.
Just to make the point here, we don't want to be rude or put negative out view to anyone who is working for the system. It's more about the principles behind and beyond the system itself, because the people who work within the system, I mean, some of them, they're really good specialists and they're really good people who want to really help, and they have a very good intentions to do something really positive, something really good for the people, for the patients, for clients, call it like you want, but it's about this bit which is creating the system. It's absolutely not there. The last what we come up with my friend during the talk was like an MS, so National Medical System, which means medication system. It's basically focused on pharmaceutic drugs and this kind of approach. But to the point, so to understand why we are not agreed with this term national health system, it is good to ask question, what is health itself? What this term health is containing? What do you think? What is your understanding, Dominica, and what is your background with the term health?
So in naturopathy, the explanation behind the health, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the absence of disease as such. It is aiming within the body to balance the body itself, the physical realm, the mind, the soul. And the health, when we look only at the physical symptoms, we can, even with herbs or supplements, they can also be used in a wrong way, because particular herbs, particular supplements will address the symptoms. So recently, I had a client with the tinnitus. So basically, it's the ringing in the ears. And There is lots of research, scientific research, behind the supplement, which was created from the pine bark and grapeseed oil, and that supplement is called pycnogenol, and it simply addresses the symptoms of ringing in ears. However, when we actually focus on the reason behind tinnitus as well, but also look at it at the psychosomatic, we search for the psychosomatic explanation, we will understand that, okay, with that supplement, pycnogenol, which is promoting the microcirculation, regulating the microcirculation, because this is exactly what happens in the ear from the physiological point of view, on the psychosomatic level, because this is a hearing disturbance. So from the psychosomatic point of view, it is explained that we don't want to hear something. So that's why it presents itself as a disturbance, because we simply don't want to hear. Don't want to hear ourselves, don't want to hear someone else speaking to us, talking to us. So very likely, and it happened many times when I worked with the clients and with herbs, we were bringing like temporary relief on the physical level. Those symptoms, without addressing and going further, were sooner or later coming back. So the optimal health is aiming for that balance, beautiful balance and harmony between our body, mind, and our spirit, our soul. That's what it means for me, simply.
Yeah, exactly. So we can agree to simplify that's the balance. That's the keeping everything in a flow, in the balance flow, to be able to enjoy ourselves in terms of the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects. And the national health systems, it doesn't matter if it's UK NHS, Polish NFZ, French Secure, it's based dreadfully on the evidence-based medicine only, and dreadfully based on the pills as a first resort for everything. And then later on, eventually on the surgeries, which mostly, again, are addressing the symptoms, not the reasons. And again, I would like to be good understand. I'm not against developing the surgeries technology, because they're bringing a lot of positive things on the end of the day. If we compare to certain things, to certain times in the past, they might bring us a lot of relief from the suffering. But on the end of the day, this is relief from the symptoms of something. And to really look on the health in the holistic and deep understanding, that's need to be understand this is the wholeness of the human being and the human experience. So putting more money to this way of construct the system, it will not get us healthier anyway. Because what I see, what I observe for years, is the lack of appreciation to the holistic understanding of human being, and to go to the roots, so where the problems are starting to happening. So there is a not enough focus and approach on the education, either patients who already developed something, but even further, if we will go to the level of the education, I mean the educational system, to the schools, and start to create more friendly environment around the education system, we will end up with much less diseaseness around.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because this educational system, which is based nowadays, mainstream educational system is based mostly on the intellectual level. There is not much artistic and life skill level, is bringing a lot of tension to the body. And it's bringing a lot of traumatic situations as well, which later on we need to deal on the different levels. It's to the certain point, of course, again, some people within the system, within the educational system as well, they're trying to support their pupils and create a positive environment to catch up with the self-esteem. But on the end of the day, it's very often putting in major group of society who went through the education system, their self-esteem is going down because it's difficult to really be on so-called top of the ladder of the education, So it's good for us to really sit down and considering as a society in general what the health means and why we have so developed pharmaceutic products. We developing more and more surgery techniques and equipment, and we not getting any healthier at all.
Absolutely, and
society.
yeah, and I think that it's worth to mention that at the basis of the medicine in ancient Greece, there was a saying. So it is the place where, of course, all those ancient cultures they developed their own natural medicine systems. But in Europe, we look often on at ancient Greece. And one of the sayings amongst those ancient, let's call them doctors, but really and truly, they were the first naturopaths. There was a saying that you never treat a disease, you treat a person. Because the fact that someone has high blood pressure and some other symptoms, for one person, the protocol for one person would be completely different than for the other person. So because the root cause, of course, on the physical level, the root cause will be going back to, of course, the diet, being overweight, obese, problem with the blood sugar regulation, multiple factors that we can actually pinpoint on the physical level to one common root cause. But for those people, all other associated symptoms, traumatic experiences, emotional health, spiritual health will be different. So, for instance, when I'm sure that you are doing this with your treatments, they are adjusted depending on what that person needs on the given day. You just know what they need. But I often use also combine the homeopathy with herbs and the flower essences. So I would never use the same flower essences for two clients presenting with the same symptoms, because on the emotional levels they went through different experiences, and it is the true focus on bringing the health back, bringing that balance back. Whereas, of course, with the NHS or any health system around the world, the focus would be on the blood pressure medication. Everyone will get exactly the same pill. Well, the brand will be different, but the mechanism behind it is exactly the same. So we are treating every single person as if they were absolutely the same, but they're not.
Exactly. So that's another part of the issue with the system today. There is really difficult and really not appreciate the differences between the human beings, and we're trying to standardize, to put the one standard for everyone, one standard of treatment. It's even so diluted from my perspective, and many of talks with the GP practitioners as well. The system is created in the way they think, if, for example, today I will see you as a client and I will make some description, general points, like let's say red rash on the skin, and 2 weeks later, completely different, a GP will look on your skin and will read my notes, red rash on the skin, and you will still have some rash. It will be more less red. So he will say, okay, there is no progress in the treatment. But if I will look on it and I will say, oh, it's 50% better than was 2 weeks ago, because I saw it on the first place. And that why the GP system is also not working. And did you notice that if you're choosing the GP practice, you're supposed to choose also the name of your doctor. And if you will use this system, I'm guessing you are not so often there. But if you will use this system, you will probably never see twice the same doctor.
Yeah.
The same practitioner.
And it's been like that for a long time already, because the last time I went to the doctor was probably, oh my God, 8 years ago or something like that. So it was a surgery. Maybe it was West London, can't remember. But yeah, it was completely, the registration process, everything went smoothly. And then the letter came with actual picture of the doctor. This is your doctor. And not that I've been there often, but it was, I think at the time, probably even more than that. I think, but before my journey and opening eyes about what health really is. So yeah, we are talking about 2010, 2011. So it's more than that. My goodness. I used to have frequent colds, infections, what have you. So I was actually probably 3 times a year at my GP practice. And to be honest with you, I've never even seen the doctor that they told me that is my GP. And we are talking like 10, 11 years ago now, long time ago. And now, apparently, right now, you don't even have the appointments. You just have the video call. Yeah.
Yeah. So where and how we can talk about the personal relationship between the practitioner, between the doctor, between the GP and his patient, is no chance to know the person. Is no chance to observe how the symptoms are developed or decreasing. And it's really difficult to get a real bigger picture if we have this personal relationship. We can say, okay, you're coming with these symptoms, but you look really tired today, or you seems to be stressed, your voice is different, and so on and so on, like individual personal relationship. And based on that, we can assume and we can direct certain ways of solving problems. If we don't have this, we seeing person one first time in a life and last time in a life, is really difficult to direct really the process, because as we agreed, the health is the balance whatsoever, and the really wide term balance in the life. It's really difficult to help person to gain the balance again and to track the process of backing to the balance, because it's not working like that, like it's the advertisements trying to sell us in the medical world. You will take one pill that will solve your liver and you will be ever happy. But it's as we said, the whole steps to get to this symptom, to this damaged liver, and so to recreate the process to back to the balance. It's a process as well, and this is also lack of understanding in so-called health system. The backing to the health is a process. It's not one of treatment. It's not one of giving one drug or something to numb the symptoms, and so okay, carry on, damage yourself further, and we will give you another foggy thing to cover your symptoms. So
yeah, and also I think that lots of damage have been done. Lots of damage has been done because of that way of promoting pharmaceutical drugs, because they kind of are promoted in a way that they will solve your issues in no time. And then I often have clients where all the NHS treatments failed, and they come to me with that understanding. And they also think, which is of course not the fault of their own, it's it's exactly how they get used to, based on what the doctors were saying. They expect the herbs, the certain supplements, practices, even changing diet to bring results in 2 weeks.
or even sooner.
Or even sooner, ideally next day. I will take herbs for one day. Why I'm not feeling better? Why my blood pressure is still high?
I had this funny conversation today with one of my clients who had absolutely lack of movement generally. He in his life for last 15-20 years, he was moving only in the certain way how he is working, but not another types of movement at all. And he started to do the exercises, the practice what I gave him for the week challenge. And he said after second day he was completely dying from it. He felt tension here and there, and he said, that's supposed to help me, but it's not helping me. And you are saying this YouTube challenge, it's so easy to do it. I said, basically, it's designed for very basic level, and you are below this level even in this very moment. So you start to activate the muscles and joints, ligaments, which were sleeping for last 20 years and overwhelmed by lack of movement. So that's why your proprioception is starting to awake, and you feel your body more, which first perception is a pain, a kind of painful and tension, because so far you wasn't use it. You forgot, your system, your nervous system forgot about these sensations, forgot about this part of your body. So we're recreating the map of your body within your brain, within your system. And I didn't say it will be easy on the beginning, did I? And it was like, no, actually not. Yes, because in your case, in your particular case, there is a huge gap, huge lack of movement, which bring you to the point why you come here, because you want to avoid the surgery. So sorry, but the first step is to start to feel yourself. And I will not treat you, and I will not trick you in the way to numb you, and you will not feel anything. This is what you were doing for last 20 years. You were taking painkillers every now and then, and look where it lead you. And the guy was like, okay, so I will carry on.
Yeah, but also in terms of exercising, there is, of course, most people have predominantly the sedentary lifestyle, and that range of motions is very limited. But I often, I'm sure that you probably have it as well, people telling you, oh, but I go on my walk every single day. But walk also, it's one type of movement. What about the rest? Whenever I talk to them about it, it's even with the very simple stretching exercises that I often do as well. I often get messages like after 2 days from clients that they actually are aching after stretching.
Yeah, exactly. Because the nervous system is start to awake, proprioception is starting working, and people start to feel themselves in the way they didn't feel themselves before for a long time. But this whole narrative coming from the pharmaceutical industry, which is saying you're supposed to take something and feel straight away blissful and wow. It's not working this way. It's not working this way. It's a common mistake of thinking, which is repeat so often we getting that. The other factor, which is really important in the health system itself, that is what we were talking before about as well. There is a lack of understanding of human physiology itself in terms of the physical body, and there is lack of understanding of the connection. It's getting better, to say there's no like bad and evil situation. It's getting better and better. We're getting there step by step, but still we are far behind with the real steps within the system about the diet and about the minerals, vitamins, and their crucial role in keeping the balance in the body. And even though when someone is coming with the symptoms, they are not the first line of tests. And as you know that very well in your practice, and you mentioned that many times here, that's the base to check the level of the vitamins, the level of the microelements in our body, in order to know where we're heading with things and what's supposed to be supplement, what's supposed to be recreated.
Yeah. And also, for most people, their diet will be very poor and deficient in many minerals and vitamins and essential trace minerals, fatty acids, everything. And unfortunately, because there is so much conflicting information when you even go to Google, that people simply don't know what to eat and how to eat. And then there is, of course, the new super diet coming onto the market that, oh my God, this is healing everything. You can get your health back. And people end up dieting, but by dieting, the first 3 words is die. They are actually excluding certain food groups from the way they eat, from that diet. That is causing deficiencies. And also, going back to, you did mention about the educational system. There is no education on, enough education on human nutrition, on understanding how important certain vitamins, minerals are, where we can get them from which fruits, vegetables, what do they, ideal situation would be teaching kids the, gardening, permaculture, biodynamic farming. But yeah, that we can only dream about it. Because then we can truly understand the entire ecosystem that we are part of. So with that lack of understanding of the way how we should eat and what we should supplement. I often have clients who haven't had the blood test done, like sometimes never, or they cannot remember. And that's the basis. And the worst thing that is happening, I had it actually this week with a client. So she had her blood test done with the NHS. And they didn't want to give her the results. So finally, she didn't know. So basically, they sent her something. I guess only because she was quite pushy and was calling them every single day, etc. So she sent me a screenshot of what she got from her surgery. And it was like the screenshot from the patient software, where there was a name of the test, for instance, thyroid panel, thyroid test, and the GP's comment. For instance, no action needed. And that's what they gave her. And also, they told her that is exactly what I need to see. Because, of course, she told them that she's working with the herbalist and nutritionist. And they told her that that's enough for me to know. And I don't need to see any, markers, ranges or anything like that to look at it further. And so I actually had to explain to her what is the difference between seeing the raw results that I can analyze and spot the subclinical situation before it even show itself as the disease. Like it often happens with the thyroid. We are able to catch it before we get the low thyroid or Hashimoto. But we need to see certain markers on the test.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. And she wasn't the first client who couldn't get her own blood test results from her surgery.
I had that situation once in the past with one of my clients. She was in pregnancy actually back then, and she had a very, very bad pain, and she felt exhausted. So she had the tests, blood test, and her condition were worse and worse. And I said, that's not the thing which we can solve from the physical level. I think that's the bigger problem with the system, because her general body and also symptoms in the eyes looking like showing that something is really happening bad. So she ended up in getting out of UK, and she went to some other country, and immediately straight they put her in a hospital, and she ended up with the sepsis, and she lost, unfortunately, the child. And she asked for when she back to herself, that recovery took some time. She asked her GP to give her the results, because she was ongoing under the treatment, under the control of the NHS. So that took her some time to get this result. And there was, when she get to the point, no, beyond this what you described before, and she really see the markers, there was a huge inflammation markers, in her body. But what the comment was, no action needed. And the low comment under was, because she's in pregnancy.
Yeah.
Whoa. So that was a long story, but the thing is exactly that why I, as a practitioner, I went on some point to study the radiology, to be able to by myself describe scans and X-rays, because I lost my trust to this kind of no action needed. And the funniest thing was, once here in UK, I sent my client just to review her progress with her scoliosis, which is like side bend of the spine and so on. And she went for this scan, and she back, and she was like laughing, and she said, Chris, they said my spine is completely fine. It's straight like an arrow. Whoa, nice. We see she was like this still, but okay, nice. So, and she get the picture, of the X-ray, and it wasn't straight at all. So she went to the doctor, and she asked, why and how come it happened? You said it's really fine. I I'm treating my scoliosis 22 years already. I was on the point to get the operation to put the pins to my spine, and now you're telling me it's no there. As what we can say. That's why I really don't like to base on descriptions, because then we can spot it, because we know how to connect certain things, as you said, the markers, subclinical markers. And when you know the connection between the thyroid's markers, and you see the game between them, the leveling, you can simply intervene in the right moment. But for that reason also, and this is what I want to say in terms of defending the GP practitioners, the system is wrongly created in terms of timing, because it's based on the procedure and they have no time. Even if they want to do things in the right way, it's really difficult for them, because they have a like 10-minute spot or 15-minute spot between clients, patients, and they need to fill up tons of papers connected to the visit. And one of my friends, which is very experienced person within the NHS for years, was working on the many roles there, said the common sense, the common thinking in the nursing and GP practice in UK went through the window in 70s when the procedures and papers and all the stress about the evidence base and procedures come in. And recently the person dropped the NHS because of that, because said there is no way to really look after patients because you have so much restrictions, so much papers to go on. You don't have a time to really take care about the person, to really connect.
Yeah.
So this is like this connective system as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember even when I was still living in Poland, so we are talking like 2001, 2002, there was a proper family doctor, and it was even called a family doctor. And when you actually registered with your surgery, you were given a doctor, and when you usually needed the appointment, unless the doctor was on holiday or you needed the appointment on the day when the doctor was off, you were always seeing the same doctor who knew your story, knew your health issues, remembered you. But yeah, it's long time ago.
Yeah,
So I guess
exactly.
that's...
I have my kind of red book, health book from Poland still, and there is 120 pages something, and it's not because I was very sick child, and because I had routine controls like teeth controls and things like that, and there's only 3 names in this book. There's only one doctor who was leading me from the age 6 until 18. There is only one nurse who was seeing me every now and then if that was needed to apply some injections or something like that. Because I had some penicillin injections because of my sore throat and bacterial infection in teenage age. And there was only one dentist who was seeing me for the whole process, whole the time.
And you know what is the funniest thing? I still remember their names.
Yeah.
I remember, all of them. I even remember my very first doctor. I was very little. I remember that I had the chicken pox, and he was actually came with for the home visit. So I was probably 5, maybe. I remember exactly how he looked.
Exactly.
So,
that was the kind of community interaction, individual interaction, what we really lost in the time. And once again, I will back to a bit onto the education system and what is happening also with the people. You starting to lose ability to prepare any meal even. Educational system is not preparing people to create their own food, to cook at all, which is really sad. And based on this, we're going for the processed food, which is obviously straight way to being sick in terms of the physical body. So that's the principles which are now failing. And we can feed this, let's call it beast,
Yeah.
as much money we want put to the system, but it will not get us as a humanity, as a society, as a local community any better. It will not rise us from the sickness at all. And the another thing, what maybe we will talk a little bit more about the perspectives in the next our chapter, but we can tap a bit because we are run out of the time now. The indigenous cultures which we come across, and as you said, the um, ancient Greeks and Romans as well, and so on, they were really away, and they still communities are away, the indigenous communities, from the idea of the hospital itself, and from the like outpatient clinic. They are away from this way of thinking, because if you gather the people, sick people, in one place, that is most likely multiply sickness.
Of course.
People will talk about disease,
Sickness. Yeah.
about
How
sickness.
they are feeling. Yeah. Yeah. And it only attracts more. It multiplies.
Exactly. So what I would like to point as well here on the end, if you on any moment get to the point you have like a critical illness, it's really worth to look for the positive stories, for the stories of people who get over, who were healed, who were cured. Not go to the these symptoms are bringing this and blah 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 and go on, because we're developing the symptoms. And there is also one funny sociological research which is showing, based on the I think Bahamas Island community, which is not so intellectual educated, the level of different range of disease is much smaller than in so-called developed communities, because they don't have access to the symptoms of different disease. So they're somehow not creating this.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I think that another trap is when we are trying to find out, like we need to find out what is wrong with us. And we are digging, and end up, labeling ourselves. Oh, I have this, I have that, and actually that also makes sense. So I have something else. And unfortunately, what it happens when we focus on the fact that we are sick, we will actually get sicker and sicker and sicker.
I'm agree fully with you. Okay, so getting to the end of this chapter, we can talk about this as always whole day, but it's really worth to sit the fundaments, to really start. And there is this discussion is ongoing. It's not like we discover something new, but there is a lot of people who start to talk about the fundaments of the health systems, of the health itself. And it's worth to remember that needs to fundamentally, philosophically change, and we need to figure out as a society, as a community, local community, global community, humanity, where do we really want to go with it? Because clearly we see with this moment, this kind of approach is not bringing us any healthier.
Exactly.
It's not working for us. So let's start to think for ourselves and for the whole community what we can do for our family to get healthier, what we can do for our community, local community, and so on, and just do it. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dominica.
it's that simple. Thank you
Exactly,
so much. Yeah.
because knowledge without the practice is only empty knowledge. Practice without the knowledge is a full action.
Mhm. Exactly that.
Thank you very
Thanks a
much
lot.
for your time and for your willingness to share. I hope that will bring some new light and different perspective to all who are watching us, who are listening to us. We are waiting for your comments, likes and dislikes, and we will carry on. Probably we will meet again after New Year next time, because I'm going away for some time in December, and there will be Christmas after I will back. So let's hope we will meet in the new year.
Exactly that.
Take
Thank
care.
you so much. Yeah, take care. Bye bye.